for us?
Yeah, from you guys bring November, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're here. We're hoping we can talk to Senator Manchin. He's here today.
Just contact me for you guys.
That'd be great. We much appreciate it.
Yeah, keep on packing in, guys. Just online.
So if you could let him know that David will be in County, and we have about 40 people
Want to
with
get
us
everyone in. It's going to be
about
tight.
the Rockville
There's
situation.
a room over that way, guys.
Sorry, I need some water.
Come on in, everybody. This is our house.
Wow, we all fit.
My name's Kai Newkirk, and I'm part of this delegation of folks from Jefferson County, West Virginia, some folks from neighboring counties. But we're here to talk to our Senator, Joe Manchin, about the toxic rock wool factory that folks are trying to build in our county that puts the health of our children, our land, air, water at risk. The majority of the population firmly against it, been organizing against it. You can't drive around without seeing stop toxic rock wool signs on every field, out front of most houses. And we're here to say to the senator that it's time to take a stand, to get off the sidelines, and to come out against this factory and stand with the citizens.
I'd also like to say, if Pat Hayes is here, we received a very distressing email yesterday that Senator Manchin canceled his planned town hall at Shepherd University, and we were
not right.
We were counting on that venue to let him know how important this was to us.
For a long time.
Yes, we came here in October. You remember, we sat here with his entire senior staff. We had biologists, we had health professionals, we had meteorologists and other scientists, we had parents. One of our children gave a letter, Hannah here, made a statement, and he has ignored us. And we need him to firmly and unequivocally state his opposition. He was at the groundbreaking. He was fooled because the company and our public officials did not disclose the magnitude of the pollution. The tons of toxic emissions, the tons of PM 2.5 that gets in our children's lungs, in their liver, in their brain, in their heart, and causes diseases. So we cannot let this factory be built.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
And we are going to stay until we get a firm commitment from Senator Manchin to oppose the construction, and we need him to call for a federal investigation
That's right. Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
of both the health impacts and the environmental impacts and the improprieties of practices and processes that led to the siting of the factory. Because we have firm evidence of substantial corruption at the state level, and we cannot trust our state Department of Environmental Protection.
That's right.
So are you able to get to the senator now? We want to either talk to him in person or on the phone, but we have come a long way. It's a
And we ain't
hardship for
going
many
back.
people to be here. It was a hardship for many people just to make the walk from where the bus dropped us off to here.
And speakerphone is adequate if he's not in the building.
That's right. And so it may be some pain and discomfort, but we understand we're here to fight to prevent greater pain and suffering in the future.
That's
So
right.
we want to be able to talk to the senator one way or another now.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm working with the schedulers to see how we can make it happen for you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You know, this is life and death for his constituents.
Literally.
This really should be his priority today, to meet with the people from the state of West Virginia who are concerned about our children. Our local governments have seen that they were manipulated, and they have reversed course, and they have said no rock wool now. The city of Charlestown, the mayor of Charlestown, the Board of Education has said if rock wool comes in, we cannot guarantee the health of our children.
That's right.
Now, why wouldn't that be a priority for Senator
Amen.
Manchin?
Amen.
Why wouldn't that be his highest priority today? We know he's here. They're taking votes. This is a work day.
He works for us, not Rock.
That's right.
Tracy Danzig. I'd like Tracy. So Tracy was the victim of DuPont in Parkersburg. Under the watch of the DEP, poisoned many people. And we would like, there's a documentary about it, The Devil We Know, and we'd like Tracy to be able to tell her story about how she was affected both in Parkersburg and now they're chasing her out of Jefferson County.
So I have a Robert Tate on the line.
Can you say something?
Thank you, Tracy.
So, I have recently been displaced from Jefferson County and trying to find my way back. But this,
Yes, absolutely.
this rock wool coming into Jefferson County and changing the lifestyle,
welcome.
changing the health of our people, changing the life of our children.
Hi, so unfortunately, there is on the phone with another
It's not
constituent
acceptable.
right now,
Please.
but I
Okay.
can go ahead and grab your
So I
email
prepared a
and
statement,
number,
and I'd like
so
to make
she
it at
will
this
get back
point.
to you.
My name is Tracy Danzig. I'm a child of the Mid-Ohio Valley.
Oh, then
I
that's
was
fine.
born in 1979. I was a competitive swimmer for my entire youth. I spent all of my developmental years unknowingly swimming through waters filled with
Perfect.
C8 from
what-
DuPont.
Oh.
I developed a non-functioning thyroid in 2001, an atypical osteosarcoma of my right hip 5 years after my dog died of the same atypical osteosarcoma 5 years before, in the exact location that I
so
had it.
What I'm going to do is also
I
send
boarded a
you
plane
this
today to come
so you can leave a
home
message and
to Jefferson
let me know the
County,
situation, and then I'm also going
to
email
come
her
home to a
and
place
she'll
that
get
I
back to you.
cannot stay, a place where I wish to be planted, but where I may no longer send down roots, for fear that the roots would fill me with a giant's waste, for fear that these roots would betray me again. I can feel my roots curve down as I stand there, longing for the earth there, but I can't stay. I can't come home here. I learned womanhood here, I learned kindness here, I learned community responsibility. Jefferson County and the people there, you taught me strength, grace, conviction, and courage. This place, our home, it's been everything I've ever needed. It became a mother and father to me. Its people provided me with enduring hope in times when I really needed it. I long to be here. I ache for the texture of this place. I want for its comfort and reassurance, but the comfort's been displaced by fear. I have been violated. I have been raped by giants before. I own scars from them. I've given them my wholeness. I've given them my beauty. I've given them my speed, my grace. I gave them flesh and bone. Blood from my veins. They took it, and they wanted more. But I'm not going to give them any more.
That's right.
And if I'm being honest, I think I deserve that much. I will give no more. I will not give them one more thing, especially not the benefit of the doubt. I want to come home now.
Rockwell's got to go.
But I do not consent to this. I do not consent to their entrance into my body again. I do not consent to their exhaust in my lungs. I do not consent to their particulates on my skin. I do not consent to their chemicals in my veins, my bones, my body. I do not consent to this, and none of us do. We do not consent to this.
That's right.
That's right.
Thank you.
You're in the right place. There are folks folks here from Jefferson County from 9 years old, like my dad, to 80 years old or more. We are united.
Yes.
To say that we don't want anyone to suffer like Tracy.
Yep.
And if that is not a priority for Senator Joe Manchin, then he doesn't deserve to be our senator.
That's right.
And we're here to say that whatever it takes, we are going to fight nonviolently to stop this factory from being built in our county. Is that right?
That's right. And today it's on Joe Manchin.
Where's Joe?
Today it's on Joe Manchin. What will he do? Which side is he on? Which side is he on? Is he on the side of foreign corporations that would rape our land, our water,
right.
our people, poison our children? Who voted for him? People in West Virginia, where he campaigned last fall and last summer and said he would do everything he could for all of us in West Virginia, and he can't be here today? And our sister's crying out.
That's right.
She's already been through this corporate poisoning. We're here to stop it, and we're not going away. And we're never going away until Rockwool goes away. And everybody who works for us is going to be challenged. Today is Joe Manchin.
We need Washington. We need Washington, D.C. to understand that over 100 tons of pollution are going to be in the Washington, D.C. airshed.
Yes.
It was only an hour-and-a-half drive from us. This is about 60 miles away from where we stand. The hundreds of thousands of gallons of industrial wastewater are going to be flowing from Evetts Run, where we fish, into the Shenandoah, into the Potomac, into the Chesapeake. We are past this point. Our civilization has moved beyond taking rocks from under the earth and melting them with 84 tons of coal a day. We have better solutions. We do not need to kill our children and pollute our water and our air. We are past that as a civilization. I'd like Karen to say a couple words.
I'm here for the future of our children. I am not a native West Virginian. I fell in love with the Shepherdstown, Harpers Ferry, entire Eastern Panhandle beauty. Coming from outside of the state, I've heard the stereotypes of West Virginia, and I came here and I found they're not true, at least not where we are. But now I'm starting to see that this move to bring industry, to bring Rockwool to Jefferson County, isn't just Rockwool. There's a plan for a 1,000+ acre industrial park there. I'm sick of West Virginia being West Virginia. I'm sick of West Virginia selling out its natural resources, its beauty, its people, poisoning the environment and its people for the profits of others elsewhere. It stops in Jefferson County. Stops. I would love to be a proud West Virginian. I'm not. I want West Virginia to make me proud. Stop doing what you've always done. Stop poisoning the people. Stop raping the land. Stop discarding them as disposable. We've got one earth and one life and hopefully generations to leave behind, and they need prosperity.
Amen. And health.
That pilot agreement that was signed, you all ought to read it, because it guarantees the prosperity of Jefferson County. No, it doesn't. Bringing in this company to get 10 years of free taxes.
$34 million in incentives for a handful of jobs. There are plants like Procter & Gamble that cannot hire people. There are 400 jobs open there. This is not a jobs problem. We have less than 3% unemployment. We're the only county, Jefferson County, is the only county in the state of West Virginia that the Appalachian Regional Commission has said is economically competitive. We're the only one, and they're trying to drag us into being like the rest of West Virginia when we're trying to help the rest of West Virginia move into the new age of clean manufacturing, clean prosperity, clean energy. The world, the globe is out of slack. We know we only have a dozen years to completely change the way we behave, or we are not going to have a planet anymore. The people in Charleston do not get it because our governor is a coal company CEO.
That's right.
The head of the Department of Environmental Protection, Austin Caperton, was a coal company executive, and they have one last chance to extract and ship and burn as much coal as they possibly can before we boot them out of office forever. And we're saying the time is now.
Yes.
Now.
I'd like Catherine Plonchik, if you have a few words.
Before she does, David, do we have an update? Have you reached the senator? Do we have a response? We want to speak to him now. There's police outside.
No, we have not.
We don't want to be arrested. We don't want any trouble with him. We want to be able to get an answer on this now. So I know you can reach him.
I haven't heard back from our scheduling team about when he would be available yet.
Ain't gonna let nobody
Turn
us around. Turn us
I
around.
can meet him back there.
Turn us around. Ain't gonna
I
let
can meet the chief of staff back there.
turn us around. We're gonna keep on walking. Keep on talking. Marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let rock roll. Turn us around. Turn us around. Turn us around. Ain't gonna let rock roll. Turn us around. We're gonna keep on walking. Keep on talking. Marching up to freedom land.
Ain't gonna let Joe Manchin.
Ain't gonna let Joe Manchin turn us around. Turn us around. Turn us around. Ain't gonna let Joe Manchin turn us around. We're gonna keep on walking. Keep on talking. Marching up to freedom land. All right, y'all.
Let's say a word about the process that brought this plant to us. I'm a school teacher. I'm scared to death for the kids, but I'm scared for all of us as taxpayers and citizens of West Virginia. This was the most underhanded, sleazy process, undermined laws, regulations, and rules of the road. It is a mess. And that is one of our demands, that Senator Manchin asked for a Department of Justice investigation into how this monster even got here.
That's right.
Without a
That's
single
right.
volunteer.
The closed process in back room.
I have heard that Rockwool is here because Rockwool is not welcome in Denmark. Rockwool is a Danish company, and my friend from England said, why are you against this? This is a Danish company. The Danish do everything well. You know, they are all about environmental responsibility. And then we find out, yes, Denmark is about environmental responsibility, which is why they won't allow Rockwool to do this manufacturing there. And that's why Rockwool has come here thinking, oh, these people are so stupid. They won't even... they won't even question why we're here. And
We're here questioning.
they're finding it.
We're asking questions, that's for sure.
You can't build a school that close to a factory, but somehow they can put a factory a quarter mile from a school?
Unbelievable.
We're not a dumping ground.
Yeah.
30% of our children go to public school within 2 miles of where they want to put a plant that's going to be sending formaldehyde, phenol, PM 2.5 into the atmosphere. What people have to understand is there are temperature inversions. The air isn't going anywhere. 30% of the time you're sending that smokestack as a hose going straight up in the air, falling right down on us. If you read the DEP permits, you will see they are completely inaccurate. They used weather stations in downtown Philadelphia. Downtown Philadelphia, and said this is the same air movement.
That's corrupt.
It's corrupt. They use ones out near Pittsburgh. They did not. We are in a valley, the Potomac Highlands Valley. You can see the fog. It's beautiful across the fields. Imagine if that was filled with toxic pollutants.
That's right.
We cannot take it.
Sacrifice zones. Stand with us, Joe Manchin.
Stand with us.
Yeah, help us understand, where is the senator?
I'm not sure about his whereabouts. The scheduling team hasn't really got
Well,
back
could you
to me
ask the
yet.
scheduling team what greater priority than meeting with 30 or more very upset constituents from West Virginia? What is more important at this moment to the senator? Ask the scheduling team that, please.
And also about 350 people watching live right now.
And we're the ones who voted him in.
West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, all my memories gather round her. Miner's lady, stranger to the water, dark and dusty, painted on the sky. Misty taste of moonshine, teardrop in my eye. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, I hear her voice in the morning hours. She calls me. The radio reminds me of my home far away. But driving down the road, I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Yesterday, country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home. Country roads.
Can I say something?
Please.
Denmark and the European Union, they're phasing out fossil fuels. They're exporting their pollution here. Formaldehyde is banned in the European Union. They're bringing it here. Our government is permitting that to happen.
That's right.
Denmark they'll give the excuse, oh, we have 2 Rockwool factories there. Well, they're not, they're converting from fossil fuels. They're going to be using sustainable energy, and they don't have the level of manufacturing here.
They're not next to a school.
This is a unique situation.
Or my home.
And we in Jefferson County, we are organized, and we're prepared for a multi-year legal, political, and media battle.
Yes.
That's right. And we ain't going nowhere. Not till we see Joe.
I live across the street from where they want to put this monster. It's less than a quarter of a mile. There's 250 homes there with over 1,200 people. They called us disposable because it's a low-income housing development. I'm here to tell you, Joe Manchin, and everybody else, we are not disposable. We are not. Rockwool's got to go. Right beside my home, I can walk a half of a block and be at the school where 50% of the kids that live in Fox Glen housing development walk to go to school. 24/7. These kids will be underneath of that pollution if we don't stop this now. Come on, Joe Manchin, where are you? Step up to the plate. stand with us. Let's
Do the
go.
right thing, Joe.
We need your help, Joe.
Do the right thing, Joe. Do the right thing, Joe.
Do the right thing, Joe. Do the right thing, Joe. Do the right thing, Joe. Do the right thing, Joe. Do the right thing, Joe.
Do the right thing, Joe. Represent us, not Rockwool.
Yes.
Represent us.
Not Rockwool.
I have a statement.
Does he have a representative you could send out? Does he have a representative here?
Hey, Robert, we got this, okay?
Go ahead, Lynn. You got something
Yeah,
to say.
Lynn has something to say.
I talked to a group of Danish officials and people from Denmark. I asked them, would you allow this in your community? What would be the process? They said, oh, well, there would be a consultation and everyone would have to agree that this is what we want because their government protects them. We don't have that sense that anyone is actually looking out for our interests.
That's right,
That's right.
We haven't had a consultation.
No, we
That's
And
right.
if there was one, you can be damn sure we wouldn't agree.
Exactly.
So we're here to bring that message, okay? This is the voice of the people of our county. Does anyone doubt that the vast majority of people in Jefferson County are against Rockwool?
No!
Rockwell.
We're all against it.
Beverly?
The message is clear, and we are going to make sure that Joe Manchin gets that message today. This is a nonviolent movement. We are a determined movement, and we will be heard.
Okay. Hi. I'm a concerned citizen of Jefferson County, and I believe in freedom and democracy. I don't know anybody in government at any higher levels. I am here with friends that I'm only beginning to know. I have no connections, and this is the first time I have ever stepped out in an activist type of a thing. And I come at it from a position that I did my own personal research, thinking maybe it was a good thing that we're going to have all these jobs. Well, the more I found out, and the more that I read, and the more information and the data told me, this is horrible. It's a horrible thing that is coming to Jefferson County. I would like to remind Senator Manchin of the words that he spoke at his victory speech on November 6th, just 3 months ago. He told us this election was about our seniors. He said he's never been more committed to any group of people than the senior citizens of West Virginia because they had earned the respect and dignity that his state should always give them.
That's right.
And he so eloquently stated what West Virginia said loud and clear tonight, Mr. President. We want our senator, not your senator. I was cheering for him. Well, I'm one of those citizens that crossed party lines to make Senator Manchin my senator.
Amen.
I want my senator to find out why the West Virginia DEP issued an air permit to Rockwool without conducting any independent due diligence. I want my senator to stop the invitations to massively polluting, unwanted foreign industries that rape our beautiful natural resources. I want my senator to protect the health and health care of the seniors and the children and to stop poisoning this monster called Rockwool. I want my senator to find a solution to this nightmare and turn this ship around and invite businesses that offer real green industries that create new technologies and they create jobs that respect the health of their workers.
That's right.
I want my senator to put an end to the systemic corruption that has been a part of the West Virginia political culture for decades. I want my senator to hear me and my fellow citizens. Thank you.
Yeah! Yeah, she spoke for me.
Does it usually take this long to contact the senator? I mean, if we were from an oil company, would you be here right now?
I mean, we were so cold in a series of member meetings and then has a series of votes shortly. And it's to be determined as to if he'll be and when he'll be back in the office. But they're trying to see if there's a time that he can call into a meeting with you guys. So they're working on it.
Today?
They are.
Today?
I'm not sure. That wasn't specified.
No, today.
We're
here.
Yeah.
I know, but that wasn't specified.
And
So
you
they're
know,
trying.
is Pat Hayes around? Because
I
we've
can
been-
ask. But
If you could ask for Pat Hayes, that would be great.
Okay.
Because he's the one who sent us an email yesterday saying, because we were insisting on him taking action, he said he canceled his visit to Jefferson County that was scheduled for 2/20/25. We told him not to. We said we want to see him. We want him to engage on this issue. And he said, if you guys are going to make demands, then he's not going to show up. That's pretty ridiculous. It's our job to hold our public officials accountable.
That's right.
That is
right.
what
That's
we
right.
do as
Absolutely.
citizens.
Work for
That's
us.
what a democracy is supposed to do.
And it's
Absolutely.
his job to listen to us.
And it is.
Exactly.
That
We
is
take
exactly
offense-
what democracy looks like.
please raise your hand.
If you voted for Manchin, raise your hand.
Hell, I worked for him.
Not again.
Hell, I worked for him. I walked
With
for him.
reservations.
I worked for him.
I did too.
He hired me in
I never
2005. I believed in him, and I feel incredibly betrayed by the backroom dealings that have happened to bring a toxic factory. I'm going to have a grandson in April, and it's been my dream that my children stay in West Virginia and live near their parents, and that my grandchildren can stay there. I am not going to risk respiratory disease, liver disease, kidney disease, heart failure, diabetes, mental disorders, and birth defects because of a toxic polluter who gives nothing to our county, gives nothing to our region, and sends lots of money to major Wall Street and international investors. This is what's happened in the state of West Virginia. It's called the resource curse.
Yes.
We're blessed with resources, and that means that the entire infrastructure has been developed, the entire political process has been developed to convert our wilderness, our mountains, our trees, our rivers, our air into crap in order to fuel industry all over the world that has brought our planet to a breaking point. West Virginia has sacrificed. Regina Hendricks is here. She organized in Charleston against mountaintop removal. She found that people were so beaten down that they wouldn't even stand up for their own water supply. Most of southern West Virginia, you cannot drink the water. We have 80% of our population in our county on wells. We have incredibly clean water. We have incredibly clean air. I have asthma. When I moved out to Shepherdstown from the DC area, I went from using my inhaler at least twice a week to maybe twice a year. That we live in a clean place. You have to understand the geology of Jefferson County. We have something called karst.
Right.
All of the aquifers run underground. When the settlers moved across West Virginia, they called our area the Arabian Plain. They did that because there are no streams, there are no rivers right on the surface, because it's all underground. Rockwell has already violated DEP building permits because there are sinkholes on their property. They didn't report the sinkholes. They started remediating. They started covering up the sinkholes. Those sinkholes lead into our aquifer.
That's right.
There's a sinkhole right now in the parking lot of North Jefferson Elementary School that's been there since I know November the 30th. I personally reported it to the Board of Education. That sinkhole is still there, and it's getting bigger. Why they dynamite right down the street to bring a water line to a plant that's not even there.
Jim Cummins is a freshwater biologist. He was the biologist for the Interstate Commission on the Potomac River Basin. That's the organization responsible for protecting the water supply of Washington, D.C. He said they could not have picked a worse spot. They could not have picked a more vulnerable spot in the entire United States for putting this factory. They made a mistake. They thought that they could get away with it. They thought that they could generate an immense amount of money before anybody figured out what was going on, before people realized that they were getting sick, before Washington, D.C. realized that their fish were dying. We need to stop it now. We need to hear from Joe. We're not going home until we get an answer.
We need our senator to represent us. it's really that simple. This is about democracy. The people of Jefferson County have spoken. 15,000 people have signed up with us in this fight against rockwool. Last fall, we changed all our representation to people who are against rockwool. Why cannot our United States Senator stand with the people of his state?
That's right.
That's what we don't understand. Stand with us. We don't live in California. We don't live in New York. We don't live in Texas. We live in West Virginia, the state he says he loves. Time to prove that right now, today. There is no senatorial priority greater than the people that they represent, greater than their constituents. It's how democracy works. It's time we fix democracy in America, and we're starting it right here today in Joe Manchin's office. Let him know we ain't going away.
Whose county?
Our county!
Whose county?
Our county!
Whose land?
Our land!
Whose land?
Our land!
Whose water?
Our water!
Whose water?
Our water!
Whose rivers?
Our rivers!
Whose rivers?
Our rivers!
Whose air?
Our air!
Whose air?
Our air!
Whose children?
Our children!
Whose children?
Our children!
Whose children?
Our children!
Whose children?
Our children!
We believe some things in this room today. We believe that no one is disposable.
That's right.
We believe that we don't have to choose between clean air and clean water and green jobs and a just economy that works for everybody.
That's right.
We believe that when the people speak and the majority makes its voice heard, that our representatives should listen and follow our lead.
That's right.
And we believe that Joe Manchin has had far too much time already to wait on this and dilly-dally and say, oh, maybe this. I want to hear both sides. The facts are in. The truth is in. We understand the risks. And we are here to protect our health. We're here to protect our families. And we're not going to wait any longer. We want an answer from the senator now. Is he going to stand with us, or is he going to stand with the multinational corporation and defend their profits? We want an answer. Will he make today, immediately, an unequivocal, official statement opposing the construction of this factory, and will he use his powers to back us up, his constituents, and initiate a federal investigation of this project on the environmental and health impacts and on the things that we believe have been corrupt about that process? We want an answer now. We're not going to leave until we get one. Are we going to leave? No. An answer? Are we ready and determined to have that answer now?
I am not Joe Manchin, which is painfully
Oh,
obvious to everybody.
we wouldn't know our
I
senator.
understand that, but you represent.
I will happily say who I am. First and foremost, we need everyone to get from behind the desk, please. Bianca, no, there are folks behind the desk. Yeah, and that's what I'm telling you is that's not.
There's a crisis happening.
If y'all want to have a dialogue, you've got to allow me to speak for a second.
We want to have a dialogue with the senator.
First and foremost, we need to give Bianca and Maddie, they do not get hazard pay, unfortunately. We need to make sure that they have safe space. So if everyone could just stay on that side of the desk, that would be great.
Okay.
I mean, I would appreciate if everyone could get on the other side of the desk.
Hey, we're
Thank
from
you.
West Virginia. We just love everybody.
So, my name is Wes. I'm the Senator's Legislative Director. We are actively trying to rework his schedule to accommodate a meeting where he can at least call in later this afternoon. There's a vote at 12:30 where the members will discuss what time the next vote will be on the package that will keep the government funded. That is the driver of what his schedule will be this afternoon. He's actively working with other members to try to make sure that the government stays open. So that is the challenge that we have with the schedule. We're working through that. It's going to take us a little bit of time, but hopefully this afternoon you can definitely meet with us. We're trying to make it so that the senator can call in since y'all want to speak with him.
And Wes, one thing I just want to make clear. You remember when we met? There was the Kavanaugh hearing crisis that postponed that meeting. There's been government shutdowns. There's been one crisis after another. The senator needs to understand that this is a crisis, the most important crisis for his constituents. Yes, there's global responsibilities that senators have. We have been raising our voice. We have been trying to get his attention. He told a group of Eastern Panhandle government workers when he had a meeting about the last government shutdown They asked him what he was doing about Rockwool. He said to that group, I haven't heard that it's been an issue for a while. We are making sure that he understands that we are not going to leave until he gets us an answer on both the unequivocal opposition to the construction of the plant in front of an elementary school and the launch of a federal investigation into the environment and health and into the improprieties of processes and practices that led to the construction of the plant.
As David
So we
well
got it.
knows, we have stayed in touch with David for the past couple of months.
With no progress.
And just because the outcomes have not been exactly what you guys have hoped for does not mean that we have not tried to create an active dialogue and tried to be responsive to the concerns.
Can you tell us why he canceled his visit?
What I'm trying to say,
We'd really like to know.
we can discuss
I got
that
a very
later
rude
this afternoon.
email.
We can discuss that later this afternoon. The thing that I will say is it will help us a great deal is we still have to conduct business in here. So y'all are welcome to stay here and peacefully protest. But we need to make sure the other meetings can come and go because we still have the rest of our business to conduct today with the rest of our constituents. And so we need to at least have some room in here for other folks to come and go. You have our commitment to try to have a meeting later this afternoon that the senator can call into. Like I said, we don't know when that will happen until after the 12:30 vote. The members do a lot of the scheduling at their level when they get together for a vote. So that's what we're waiting for. As soon as we have more information, we will relay it. But we just ask that you guys work with us. It's not Bianca's fault. It's not Maddie's fault. We are doing our best. But what I'm saying is that they're the ones that have to explain to the other meetings why they can't get in and out. And so you can certainly have folks in here. We cannot continue to house everybody in here. And so if y'all want to take turns, that would be helpful.
We're one group.
Did those other folks vote for Joe Manchin?
What I'm talking, the other constituents from West Virginia that we come in and meet with still need to be able to get service from our office.
We'll let them through. We've been trying to get an answer on this for a long time. See, that's the thing. We've been trying to get an answer. David sent an email following up after months of conversation yesterday, and you know what the response was? To take offense. To take offense to us bringing a demand representing the majority of our constituents. And to cancel a town hall that was planned. That's what y'all did. When we reached out, no, wait a second, please.
And that's what we've done.
You canceled that in response to us reaching out.
Audience with Senator Manchin, and we are
That's not what happened. And this is the waiting. This is the waiting room. This is the waiting room. We're waiting.
And I told you you're welcome to wait there
as
long as you like.
Get in touch with the
we just need to make sure there's enough room for other constituents to come in.
But that's not the issue right now.
No problem.
That's not the issue.
There's
right
not
now.
a ton
it's
of
not
room.
a meeting. Let me finish.
Right. I'm saying if the wheels are already in motion, y'all don't necessarily have to stay here, everybody.
We're staying.
I think there's a misunderstanding. Because what we want most is not time in a meeting. We want an answer. That's a very simple question. It's a very simple question. And I know that you can get in touch with the senator right now. I know you've already been in touch.
The senator's in a stack of meetings until...
I know, but he can get a text message. He can get a text message and give us an answer.
Kai, should we sit down? Whole process.
David.
We're actively trying to set something up this afternoon to meet y'all's request. Now,
But what we want is an
if y'all
answer.
could meet us halfway too, that would be great.
What we want is an
Why
answer.
can't these other
We've been
meetings
reaching
be
halfway.
canceled? Because there's 40 of us, and why can't one appointment with one constituent be postponed to another time so that he can see us?
Well, why did he cancel with us? Why did he cancel our meeting on the 25th? Why can't we just get a clear answer? Like, that's so simple.
What I said is, you guys requested a meeting with Senator Manchin. We're actively working to make that happen. That's the extent of what I can offer at the moment. I'm not Senator Manchin, so...
Hey, look, brother, we love you. We're fighting for you.
But what
and
I'm
your
trying to
family
say is
too.
that
right?
need y'all to meet us halfway on this. It's going to take us a little time to figure out what time.
I want to make it more clear is that what we want here is not to juggle around and figure out the time, because a lot of time has gone into this. Wait a second. I understand. But I just want to make sure, David, I want to make sure you understand clearly where we're at, which is that we've made a request. We've been making it for some time. We have been rebuffed, and now today we want an answer immediately. Will he come out officially, unequivocally, and publicly against this project today or not? And I'll tell you what, We're not going to leave until he does. We're going to sit down. We're going to sing our songs. We're going to chant. We're going to build this movement. And you're going to have to make a decision whether that's a priority to get us an answer for his constituents or not. Whose county?
Our county.
Whose county?
Our county.
Whose county?
Our county.
Come on, y'all. Whose land?
Our land.
Come on, y'all. Whose water?
Our water.
Come on, y'all. Whose air?
Our air.
Whose rivers?
Our rivers.
Whose children?
Our children.
Whose children?
Our children.
Whose children?
Our children.
Whose county?
Our county.
Whose county?
Our county.
Whose land?
Our land.
Whose land?
Our land.
Whose air?
Our air.
Whose air?
Our air.
Whose water?
Our water.
Whose water?
Our water.
Whose water?
Our water.
Whose water?
Our water.
That's right.
Yay!
Come in and start arresting. That's not us telling them to do so. It's just a fire hazard. So if you're sitting on the ground, Capitol Police may come in here.
We understand.
You can stand all day long.
And there's a greater crisis that is our concern.
Right.
We're gonna put that. Thank you, man. And y'all have been wonderful. Y'all have been so gracious. Let's give them a hand.
Yeah.
And we are so ready for you to join our movement right now. You know what? I'd rather be with the movement than have this job with a senator who won't stand with his constituents. So, you know, the red carpet.
We welcome you. We welcome you to be with us.
It's so much more fun.
Thank you.
It's so much more fun when your heart is aligned, you know, with what you're doing. You don't have to deal with answering for this senator who won't listen to his constituents.
You let the spirit move.
That's right. And for us, the crisis, the health of our children, protecting our land, protecting our air, protecting our water, protecting a future for our county when we don't have to choose between good jobs and an economy that works for everybody, and our health, and the land that makes all that possible. For us, that's a crisis, and we're willing to make the sacrifice. And the nonviolent tradition, it's American as apple pie to take nonviolent direct action. You know what? I say that all the time. I don't want to say right now. It's more American than apple pie. Because if you got rid of apple pie, you know, we'd miss out on a great sweet dessert. But America would still be essentially what it is now.
Right.
But if you took away nonviolent direct action and protest and civil disobedience, you wouldn't recognize this country.
That's right.
And the beautiful and just and true things about it wouldn't be part of it.
That's
so
right.
we understand that history, we understand that truth, and we walk in that tradition, do we not?
That's right. That's right.
And we aren't going to let anybody turn us around.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn us around. Turn us around. Turn us around, ain't gonna let nobody turn us around. We're gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let Joe Manchin turn us around, turn us around, turn us around. Ain't gonna let Joe Manchin turn us around. We're gonna keep on walking. Keep on talking, marching up to freedom.
Rockwool ain't gonna let him.
Ain't gonna let Rockwool turn us around, turn us around, turn us around. Ain't gonna let Rockwool turn us around. We're gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom. And come on, ain't gonna let corporate greed turn us around. Turn us around, turn us around, ain't gonna let corporate greed turn us around. We're gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. All right, y'all. All right. Hey.
Joe Manchin is 5 minutes from here. After that 12:30 vote, he can come here.
Yes.
He doesn't have to be on any phone call. He can come here. He's 5 minutes away.
One way or another, we're going to have an answer.
Right.
We're not leaving today under our own power without an answer.
And could I ask a question, please? My understanding is we probably wouldn't be here if he had kept that commitment to come on the 25th to Jefferson County. Is that correct?
If he had given an answer or just been willing to respond to our request,
He didn't even
refused.
respond to the
That's
email
right.
except cancel it. I told him that we needed him to make an unequivocal statement.
Right.
That we needed him to launch a federal investigation, and that we needed him to come out on the 25th at his town hall instead of pretending he was starting from scratch, instead of pretending he needed more information, instead of pretending that there were two sides in this issue. Instead of pretending all these things, we simply asked, we said, use that venue to take a stand with us, with the voters, with the citizens, with the residents. And when we asked him to take a stand with us, his response was, if you don't want to do it our way, we are going to cancel the town hall. So we said, if you're not going to come out, we're going to come to you. Right. We need an answer now. We've got to get our lives back. We've got to make sure our children and our grandchildren are healthy.
So here's what we've got to say. Hey, hey!
Ho, ho! Rockwool has got to go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Rockwool has got to go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Rockwool has got to go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Rockwool has got to go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Rockwool has got to go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Rockwool has got to go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Rockwool has got to go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Rockwool has got to go.
Oh, the West Virginia hills, how majestic and how grand, with their summits bathed in glory, like our Prince Emmanuel's land. Is it any wonder then that my heart with rapture fills, as I gaze once more on loved ones in those West Virginia hills? Oh, the hills, beautiful hills, beautiful hills, beautiful hills. How I love those West Virginia hills. If on sea or land I roam, still I think of happy home, and my friends among those West Virginia hills. That's only the first verse, and there are three.
Keep going, sister. Keep going. I could listen to you all afternoon.
That's our state song. We all should know it. Want to sing it again?
Yeah.
Oh, the West Virginia hills, how majestic, and with their summits bathed in glory, with their summits bathed in glory, like our Prince Emmanuel's. Is it any wonder? Is it any wonder then that my heart with rapture thrills, as I gaze once more on loved ones in those West Virginia hills? Oh, the hills, beautiful hills, beautiful hills, beautiful hills. How I love those West Virginia hills. If on sea or land I roam, still I think of happy home, and my friends among those West Virginia hills.
Beautiful. Sing it.
I will try and learn the other.
Yeah, 'cause we ain't done.
There's room for joy in the struggle.
That's
tonight.
right.
That's right.
Terry's probably
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I
Real loud, y'all. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
Does anyone else want to share from your heart, your testimony, why you're here, who you're fighting for, what's at stake for you?
Yeah. For the love of all that is good and beautiful, it is time for West Virginia to become a leader in the 21st century.
Yes.
Not the 20th century. We're looking for 21st century solutions to our problems.
Yes.
Insulation, great. Let's do it with 100% renewable energy. I want to see solar.
And
I want
hemp.
to see wind. I want to see hemp fields. We tore down an apple orchard. I want to see hemp fields. I want to see recycled denim. I want to see 21st century solutions. We have a global crisis. We have climate change. We have young people responding all over the planet this week, walking out of school for global justice. We need to be leaders. West Virginia has always been an energy state. Let's become leaders in the 21st century. Let's move forward in right action in West Virginia.
Amen. That's right. And Jefferson County is the perfect place for that to begin.
That's right.
It is the perfect spot. We're here between the rivers. We're here in the mountain. We're part of the D.C. metro area. We are the perfect place for West Virginia to begin that mission of creating a clean state and exporting our wind and our water power out to the rest of the world instead of extracting and leaving us with barren land and with poisoned air and water.
It's time to move forward.
Jefferson County. Yes. Jewel. Woo! Jewel.
I just wanted to add quickly, if Joe Manchin and whoever allows this toxic dump to be built, he will not only be involved in poisoning the people of West Virginia. There's a lot of counties around there that sent people in to testify and sent briefs at the public hearings. So they're afraid of rock wool, and they're not sitting in on top of rock wool, for God's sake.
Well, let me amplify that.
All right, Regina.
Let me amplify that.
Tell it.
The state cannot afford to ruin any more land.
That's right.
They're sucking taxes from us to clean up the place where I live, where I was born.
That's right.
And they can't afford any more destruction. And if they do that to us, the population will continue to dwindle and dwindle and dwindle, and the few that are left will be sick, like in southern West Virginia. They're sick. And they need our taxes to pay their Medicaid and to clean up the water. I can testify from firsthand that when those wells in southern West Virginia got destroyed, that we had to beg and beg and beg to get city water to the people. It wasn't the companies that destroyed them. We, taxpayers, paid for city water. All right, they got city water. Then we had this leaking tank sitting out by the Elk River. And I knew it was there. I passed it many times. It was grown up with weeds. I thought it wasn't being used, but it was. And so those people in the South got poisoned too with city water.
Oh my Lord.
We can't afford to keep going like this.
That's right.
We can't trust DEP to protect us.
Oh no.
And That's why we're here at Joe Manchin's office, because he's supposed to represent us too. And he has the power to help protect us. He can push the EPA to look into this, to review those permits that never should have been issued in the first place. He can push the FBI, the Department of Justice, to look into this corrupt process that has imposed this on our county against the will of the majority. And we're not going to leave until we get an answer. It looks to me like the vote on the shutdown is over. But they're on to something else now. So is that the shutdown vote is over? Because that's what we were hearing about. Hey, he's got to do this vote. We understand that. Looks like it's over.
So it's time to come see us.
We haven't got an answer.
Well, I want to know where he is, because if he's supposed to be doing a vote, he certainly isn't on the floor right now.
He's in the Capitol complex. He's close enough.
He's 5 minutes away. He doesn't want to take 5 minutes to hear from his constituents.
Right.
Hey, Joe, we're over here.
Hey, Joe, we don't bite. We didn't bite in October when we were walking and talking for you.
We're staying here.
We didn't bite in November when we voted for you. We don't bite. Come sit with us. Come hear from your people. Come hear from people from West Virginia. You know, that valley that we live in, the Eastern Panhandle, is one of the most beautiful places on earth. Has mountains ringing it, 2 beautiful, fast-moving rivers running through it, a broad, beautiful plain, clean air, fish in the streams. We want to keep it livable. That's all we're asking. That's all we're demanding. Keep it livable. Don't hurt our kids.
Not only our kids, our racehorses. It was brought out in one of the hearings that racehorses breathe, their lungs take in far more air than ours, and they will be, the horse racing industry, there's a great racetrack in Charlestown, West Virginia, that's bound to suffer greatly if the Rockwool plant is built.
And that industry provides a lot more than 150
That's
jobs.
exactly right.
Yes, exactly.
Risking thousands of jobs.
Yep.
for 150
Exactly.
measly jobs.
Exactly.
Dirty jobs. Exactly. And it's a year-round track, which is unusual. There aren't a lot of year-round tracks.
That's right.
There are horses there year-round.
If you look at the economy of Jefferson County and the Eastern Panhandle, you'll see, as West Virginia University did, that it's a very robust, very diverse economy. We have education. We have Shepherd University, and we have American Public University System. We have light, advanced manufacturing like Royal Vendors. We love manufacturing in our county. We have a lot of federal workers. We have a lot of people who live there who work at the Coast Guard, the National Coast Guard Operations Center, protecting all of our coasts, all of our ships. We have the IRS Data Center right nearby in the Eastern Panhandle.
The VA Medical Center.
The VA Medical Center that takes care of a lot of our vets. We have a very robust economy. Instead of and all of the small businesses, when you think about the equestrian industry, which is one of the oldest businesses in the United States, in Jefferson County, we had Charles Washington settled there for that reason.
That's right.
George Washington surveyed the C&O Canal out there, figured out where it was going to go. Thomas Jefferson sat on what is now called Jefferson Rock by Harper's Ferry and said, this is probably the most beautiful view in the world. And he was able to travel there easily. Abraham Lincoln walked up the trail that we now call Maryland Heights, that a lot of us walk up to go look at Harper's Ferry. We have almost $1 billion a year in tourism, over $800 million. That's more than any other county in the entire state of West Virginia. You think people want to come out for hikes to look from those views and see a giant factory spewing thousands of tons of harmful and toxic emissions? Are these people nuts? Or are they incompetent? Or are they greedy?
They just don't care.
And in the spring and the summer, David, are people gonna raft those rivers, the Shenandoah and the Potomac, that support so many jobs in the spring and the summer, with people from all over the eastern seaboard coming to see the historic park, coming to see where John Brown struck a blow for freedom, coming to see where John Brown was hanged in Charlestown, coming to see Storer College, where the NAACP was born, breathed to life by W.E.B. Du Bois. It's one of the most important areas in America, historically and in terms of beauty and natural resources. We are not gonna let this happen in our home. What does Joe not understand about our home? It's where our roots are. It's where our kids are. It's where what we love is. We're not going away, and we're not going to let a Danish corporation who will not pollute in their own country come to our state, our backyard, our county, our home, and make us all sick and kill our kids. It ain't happening.
I'd like to say something about the VA since David mentioned the VA. I've been a registered nurse at the VA for 10 years through August of 2018. And many of our patients there, that's going to be, right now, I think we're one of the highest structures in the area at 6 stores. We have a beautiful view from our 6th floor, a beautiful panoramic view. Many of our veterans have compromised immune systems and compromised Agent Orange exposure. There you go. PTSD, etc. These people are very compromised. Many of them, a lot of people don't understand, we have a domiciliary program at the VA, and at any given time we have several hundred veterans living on the campus of the VA, which will be within the shadow of the dual 21-story Rockwool smokestacks emitting 6 known carcinogens. Our veterans don't need this. And if I could add an aside, I used to live in Charlestown. Now I live in Berkeley County in Falling Waters. When I lived in Charlestown and my children went to Wright Denny Elementary School and Charlestown Junior High School and so forth, and many of you who are old enough to remember will remember how we waited years for the very unsafe 2-lane Route 9, which was a death trap. It was congested. There were many, many deaths on that highway. And we waited for years, thankfully with the help of Senator Robert Byrd. You know, the funding was secured, and many people played a part to bring a beautiful 4-lane highway, which is so much safer than the old Route 9, and it's not congested as a rule. And Rockwool wants to come in and have heavy equipment dump trucks running there 24 hours a day, bringing in coal, taking out product, etc. In 81, the other highways in our area, like Interstate 81, which I travel every day, is already terribly unsafe and congested, even with the expansions. Other highways are becoming congested. This Route 9 that Senator Byrd and others worked on for so many years is still a beautiful and safe highway, and we need to keep it that way. We don't need Rockwool. So on behalf of the veterans and everyone who travels safely on that highway, let's keep Rockwool out.
Our hiking and our tourism, there's I think 13, when you hike, 13 of those 15 are going to see those smokestacks. I do not want to hike up on Maryland Heights and take pictures with smokestacks in there, because you see not only Virginia, you see Maryland, and you see West Virginia, and those smokestacks do not belong in those pictures. And all those people that travel to come and hike in our national park, they don't want to see that either, because they'll never come back. And Harper's Ferry, who depends, they depend, because when we had the government shut down, they lost so much money. So when this Rockwool moves in, if we don't, and I believe that we are going to make them go away, because they cannot be a good neighbor. They cannot be a good neighbor.
They've already proven it.
Exactly. If they destroy our tourism, there is no way that they can be a good neighbor, and they told us they are, so they need to go.
It shouldn't be an issue. These are U.S., West Virginia, Jefferson County citizens who are saying no.
Yes.
This
exactly,
is our
sister.
land. No.
Right.
This is a foreign corporation.
Right.
It shouldn't even be an issue about who does Joe Manchin support.
That's right.
That's
right.
right.
That's
It
right.
shouldn't even be a question.
Exactly.
I'd like to point something out that wasn't mentioned. I'm a healthcare provider. I'm a family nurse practitioner. I've been living here for 35 years, and we have an Eastern Panhandle hospice that is even closer
You're right.
to Rockwell than the VA, and they are livid about this because those people
Talk about compromise.
talk about compromise. This cannot be. This has to go. The school, the hospice, the residents. This is bad news, and our movement has every political party, every religion, every race. We are the people. This is not one small group of liberals or anything.
Read them off.
We've come together.
Can I say a word about farmers? Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
There's
yes,
somebody-
and small working farms we have. Do you want me to read this?
Please.
Okay. Citizens organizing opposed to Rockwell.
Let's say the names with her after she does.
Concerned Citizens Against Rockwell, Jefferson County Vision.
Concerned citizens against Rockwell.
Jefferson County Vision.
Jefferson County Vision.
Jefferson County Board of Education.
Jefferson County Board of Education.
Jefferson County Farmland Protection Board.
Jefferson County Farmland Protection Board.
Jefferson County Historic Landmark Commission.
Jefferson County Historic Landmark Commission.
Jefferson County NAACP.
Jefferson County NAACP.
Appalachian Trail Conservancy.
Appalachian Trail Conservancy.
American Academy of Pediatrics, West Virginia Chapter.
American Academy of Pediatrics, West Virginia Chapter.
Eastern Panhandle Protectors.
Eastern Panhandle Protectors.
Corporation of Charlestown, West Virginia.
Corporation of Charlestown, West Virginia.
Corporation of Shepherdstown, West Virginia.
Corporation of Shepherdstown, West Virginia.
Corporation of Harpers Ferry, West Virginia.
Corporation of Harpers Ferry, West Virginia.
Loudoun County Board of Supervisors.
Loudoun County Board of Supervisors.
Loudoun County Equine Alliance.
Loudoun County Equine Alliance.
City of Leesburg, Virginia.
City of Leesburg, Virginia.
Town of Lovettsville, Virginia.
Town of Lovettsville, Virginia.
Town of Hamilton, Virginia.
Town of Hamilton, Virginia.
Town of Hillsborough, Virginia.
Town of Hillsborough, Virginia.
Town of Middleburg, Virginia.
Town of Middleburg, Virginia.
Yay, Virginia.
Yay, Virginia.
Town of Purcellville, Virginia.
Town of Purcellville, Virginia.
City of Brunswick.
City of Brunswick.
That's Maryland.
Maryland.
Town of Sharpsburg, Maryland.
Town of Sharpsburg, Maryland.
Mid-Atlantic Center for Children's Health and the Environment.
Mid-Atlantic Center for Children's Health and the Environment.
Potomac Valley Audubon Society.
Potomac Valley Audubon Society.
Sierra Club, West Virginia Chapter.
Sierra Club, West Virginia Chapter.
Smart Growth Syndicate.
Smart Growth Syndicate.
Women's March, West Virginia Chapter.
Women's March, West Virginia Chapter.
We the People.
We the People. Yay!
Gail, we want to hear a few words
I'm
from
no
you.
expert on agriculture, but I think we forgot to mention that. And a friend of mine, Mike Glenn, who's a scientist, did a paper on the effect of ozone on soybeans. And I believe Jefferson County is the largest producer of soybeans in the state of West Virginia.
It is.
Well, he did a very scientific study with footnotes and all the bottom line that the ozone produced by Rockwool is going to deplete the soybean crop by over a third. Now, if it does that to soybeans, which is kind of a hardy crop, imagine the effect it's going to have on the grape industry, even the corn we grow. So the farmers are against this, and let's not forget that that's an important part of our economy as well. No Rockwool.
No Rockwool.
My mother works as a farm manager at the Ripon soybean farm, and also they raise cattle and all other kinds of commercial crops. He makes more. He doesn't make. He's not rich, but he makes a whole lot more money than he would make working at Rockwool in one of those 100 jobs.
That's right.
Nope.
I have to update her shirt. Keedysville, Maryland.
Oh, yeah.
Keedysville, Maryland. Yay, Keedysville.
I would like to add
the National Conservation Training Center and the annual Contemporary American Theater Festival to the attractions that bring people to Jefferson County, West Virginia, that would be adversely affected by the Rockwool plant.
Sisters and brothers, it's time. It's time for Joe Manchin to give us an answer. It's time for Joe Manchin to add his name to the list on that shirt.
Yes.
It's time that we stop poisoning people in our state and start healing the people that are sick.
That's right.
That Regina talked about. It's time that we stop poisoning, destroying the land and the precious resources in our state and start protecting them and nurturing them and building an economy that preserves them for future generations. It's time for our democracy to be about the people and not big money and not big corporations.
That's right.
It's time for us to have a voice. It's time for the majority to be heard, and we've waited long enough. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
We've waited long enough for Joe Manchin to take a stand. Which side are you on, Joe? Which side are you on? On your side of this Danish corporation and their profits? Or are you on the side of the people and the land in this county and in this state and in this region? We need an answer. We've come here to demand one, and we have been shut down. We haven't been responded to.
Right.
We've been given the runaround. Oh, he's got to have this vote. He's got to do this thing. Maybe we'll get back to you. Have we heard a word since then?
No.
No. And we're not going to take it anymore. We're going to stand up and represent the people in our county, the majority, that power, and we're going to use it, and we are going to win. And right now we're going to step up, stand together, and we're going to raise our voices outside here and make sure folks in this building know that we've come to get an answer from Joe Manchin. And if we don't get one, we're going to disrupt business as usual.
Amen.
We ain't gonna let anybody turn us around.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn us around. Turn us around. Turn us around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn us around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching to the freedom land. Ain't gonna let nobody turn us around. Turn us around, turn us around, we ain't gonna let no go. Turn us around, we're gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching to the freedom land. Manchin, turn us around, turn us around, turn us around, ain't gonna let Joe Manchin turn us around, we're gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Turn us around, turn us around, turn us around, ain't gonna let corporate greed turn us around, we're gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land.
Beverly, lead us in those chants, Beverly. Come on now.
Ho ho! Rockwool has got to go, hey hey! Ho ho! Down everybody! Rockwool has got to go, hey hey! Ho ho! Rockwool has got to go, hey hey! Ho ho! Rockwool has got to go, hey hey! Ho ho! Rockwool has got to go, hey hey! Ho ho! Rockwool has got to go, hey hey! Ho ho! Rockwool has got to go, hey hey! Ho ho! Rockwool has got to go, hey hey! Ho ho! Rockwool has got to go, hey hey! Ho ho! Rockwool has got to go. Say it loud, say it clear. Rockwool is not welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Rockwool is not welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Rockwool is not welcome here. Gather in, y'all. Hey, get close. Say it loud, say it clear. Rockwool is not welcome here.
I just want to step over you without hurting you. We understand, sir. There's a crisis, so we're going to stay here. That's fine. But we're going to step over you. Keep on going.
West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is older, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads, long memories, gather round her. Miner's lady, stranger to blue water. Dark and dusty, painted on the sky. Misty taste of moonshine, teardrops in my eye. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads. I hear her voice in the morning as she calls me. Radio reminds me of my home far away. Moving down the road, I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Yesterday. Country roads, take me home to the place.
Folks, you have to go to a demonstration. If you not cease and desist, you will be subject to arrest. This is your first warning. First warning.
Take me home.
Let's do it again.
This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands. From Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me.
Country roads again.
Country roads
Hey, folks, you're conducting an unlawful demonstration. If you do not cease and desist, you will be arrested. This is your second warning.
Thank you, officer. Thank you, sir.
Almost heaven.
West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is older, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads.
Right there behind you, Regina.
Okay, folks, you are conducting an unlawful demonstration. If you do not cease and desist, you will be arrested. This is your third and final warning.
We shall not be moved.
You're not risking arrest. You need to move.
I'm sorry.
If you're not risking arrest, move on. Terry, how's the second verse start?
You don't want to be arrested. You got to be back to all the way around the corner now.
Okay, folks, down this way past the elevator. Sorry, if you don't stand up now, you can play something.
If you want to get arrested, you have to stand up there.
Keep going back. Ma'am, do you plan on being arrested? Do you plan on being arrested? Okay, keep going back, please. Guys, just keep going back.
Tell us why you're here, while we're walking back.
Yes, we have a very heavy polluting industry moving into our county. It's moving right next to a school. It's highly
Ma'am, you gotta keep
toxic.
moving, please.
I am moving. Thank you. It's highly toxic, and we want it out. We need to keep our children healthy and our people healthy in Jefferson County.
What does this mean to you personally?
This was the home for me. I'm an import into the county since '97. This was my home. And everything that I've worked for
All the way back here, where all the rest of this group
is up for grabs by a corporate entity that all they want to do is pollute.
Okay, we'll get it for you. Don't worry. Once they're all taken care of, you can go back and get it. Okay, just right past this gentleman here, man. So this is one of ours, guys.
Hallway. Do not block the hallway.
Against the walls, against the railings. You got people walking through though, just make the path here. You can go that way. You can't get to the, if you do, you gotta go around the other. I don't want you guys to get arrested.
Slim. Here, he's going out here. It's not going out now. Yeah. The non-arrest coordinator.
Some people like the other way.
We're on one right now.
You going downstairs? Go right there. You can go. Or go to the elevator. You just can't go past.
Where are you looking to go?
She's just going to the stairs.
Stairs? Go left or right? Stairs are back here also.
There's others. I will keep it then if they're all there. Oh, he's behind us. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Got it.
Sorry about that.
It's one of the other staircases or elevators. Thanks.
After the hearings, you probably can feel that, but they were still saying that.
No, we're not using the elevator.
They're going to the right. Everybody move to the left. Everybody move to the left. Quickly, move to the left.
I need you to move. Everybody past this blue line, right here.
Keep coming back. On the other side of the blue line, right here.
Noah, can you come all the way back so we can...
So for those of you that haven't been with us the whole time, that was a group of activists from West Virginia who were sitting in at Joe Manchin's office, and then eventually they took out the hall. Excuse me real quick. So we're just running downstairs to see if we can go catch up with them again as they exit the building.
Thank you very much. This way. Almost heaven. West Virginia.
Sir, back up.
We're being arrested because Joe Manchin will not take a stand on Rockwool. He would not meet with us. He was only 5 minutes away. He would not come and talk to the citizens of Jefferson County who elected him. He's putting a toxic factory right across the road from an elementary school. We need him to answer to the people, to the children, to the residents of West Virginia, including my grandson, who's going to be born in April. This is for you, Oliver. We're fighting for your air, for your water, and your health.
Thank you. Tell us why you're getting arrested today.
For my children, for my farm, for my county, for our clean air, our clean water, for the citizens of West Virginia. Jefferson County can be a leader in trying to change the energy problem in our state. We need no Rockwool. We need good, clean jobs in Jefferson County.
This made me so happy. I think this is
Tell us why you're getting arrested today.
Well, because we're trying to stop a foreign corporation from Denmark from poisoning our valley in West Virginia. The eastern panhandle, the northern part of the Shenandoah Valley. They want to poison us and our children. They want to poison the land. They want to poison the air. They want to poison the water. They want to poison the Potomac River and the Shenandoah River. They want to take from us without giving back. And we're not going to let them. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate your kindness.
Tell us why you're getting arrested today.
Because of Joe Manchin, and he won't come and defend Jefferson County against the beast that they let come from Denmark to dump poison on top of our kids, our seniors.
Park them all. Keep this guy over here. Guys with the video cameras, come on over here.
We're not disturbing anything. We're just standing here.
Back here, behind me. Back here. Behind that line. You see that crack right there in the sidewalk? Stay behind that.
Guys, go ahead and cross the street for us. You can't just block the...
He just told us we could stay behind the line.
Okay.
Guys, you can't be in the street. You're in the street. Ma'am, on the sidewalk behind me, behind this sign.
You guys have IDs? Where are they?